the 29th annual Martin Luther King's Day celebration. Learn more right after this.
Good one, son.
Last summer, my new dad took me on vacation. First, we went deep sea fishing.
Wow! I'm so proud of you, son.
And then we went on Thunder Shark. That was awesome! Let's go again! 3 times. I gotta say, it was pretty cool.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
Oh, not again.
Welcome to Community Watch. Greg.
Doug, Happy New Year.
Same to you. And school's back in.
School's back in. We're getting back into the routine of things. We're doing Community Watch, so we get to hang out. So
Yeah.
things are good right now.
Things are good. Things are a little crazy at Highlands. I don't know about
It is. But things are always crazy, though.
at the beginning.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we have done a few shows over the years on the MLK weekend, which in Rome is really pretty remarkable. It's not just a single event; it's a full weekend, and has been for a long time.
Yeah, and I think we know we have some guests coming later to talk about it, but I think it is the only 4-day event in the state of Georgia in 29 years. So I mean that's an accomplishment. We talk about a lot of stuff that's been happening for years in the community.
Right.
29 years is a long time.
That's a very long time, and to think that, and I know it's been driven by really a handful of individuals over the years, but the community has supported it enough to justify continuing it, I would guess. So all of that is something to be proud of.
Oh yeah.
And this year's events are impressive.
Oh yeah.
Busy weekend.
Busy weekend.
So we will be talking about the events that are planned for the upcoming weekend, and you'll want to pay close attention so you can make your plans to attend. So stay with us. We'll be right back with our guests after this.
I grew up in the housing projects of Cleveland. I didn't even know that life could be any better than it was. Education for me has been a way to get away from the agony of what was normal life. I want to be able to impact the community, not just look back on where I came from, but to reach back to where I came from and pull some people up with me. My name is David, and I am your dividend.
Welcome back to Community Watch, and we're very happy to have with us today Sunday Stevenson and Alvin Jackson. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Now, Mr. Jackson, you have been on the show approximately 30 times. Would you say, was that about right?
I'm thinking about 36.
36 times. So I know you are a regular, and it's always good to have you back.
Thank you.
And Ms. Stevenson, we're honored to have you here.
Thank you. Honored to be here.
So, how many King Weekend weekends have there been?
This year makes 29 years, 29 consecutive
29 years. You got to be proud of that.
I'm very proud. I think the entire community should be proud. I mean, we're the only full consecutive day celebration in the state of Georgia.
And to have kept that up for so long, that's really pretty remarkable.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
And I think maybe it was your 4th or 5th visit to the show. You told us the story of how all of this started. But could you remind us again of that? 29 years ago, what brought this to be, this weekend of events?
Well, as you know, Ronald Reagan declared the fourth Monday in January back in 1984-85 as the official date for the King holiday celebration. At that time, there were several community leaders, ministers, both black and white, that got together and went before the city commission. We went there about 6 o'clock in the evening to ask that they make Rome. There's a holiday in the city of Rome. At that time, it only cost around $35,000 to let all the employees off. We sat there from about 6 p.m. until about 10, 11 that night. There were 9 commissioners on the commission at that time, and they kept coming up in a tie vote. And lo and behold, after we sat there and made our case and we went back and forth, the chairman at that time was Buddy Mitchell. He was the chairman, and he was a white gentleman, but he was very thoughtful, and he said enough is enough, and he cast the deciding vote, which made it 5-4 to make the King celebration an honorary holiday in the city of Rome.
And that year, was that the very first year of the weekend events?
Just that following year, we began to plan the events, and I never forget, it snowed that year, and in the march, there were only 5 of us. We marched up Broad Street. There was ice and snow on the ground, and it was only 5 people that participated in the march that first year.
Well, there had to be.
It's great though.
I mean, you don't sit there for hours, and you get it, and then the day of, but that's why I guess faith and belief in what you're doing really comes in, because when you turn around and able 4 other people with you, I know it had to just eat at you like, wow, because that kind of makes a statement. And then to look 29 years later, I mean, it's a lot of people attending the marches.
Yes, well, back in those days, people really, in my opinion, were still biased to a certain degree. And matter of fact, I was threatened. I had to have security for X amount of years with the sheriff and the police department. And so I think people began to realize it was well worth the wait. I mean, it never dampened my faith, and those other people that came along later, it never dampened theirs either. So it was one way to start.
Now, son, you the current president, is that the title?
Chairperson
of the MLK Commission.
That's correct.
Knowing this legacy, of the commission, 29 years, when you took leadership, what was your mindset? Like, what did you want from the King Commission going forward after this long, great history?
Going forward, standing on the shoulders of those that have come before me, the mission, is to get better, to always do better. You have to know where you came from in order to know where you're going. So, those people, they worked hard, and like you said, for hours, they fought for that. They stood there and fought for it. So you want to do better. We all, it's the goal is to always be better, and that's my goal. You want to bring people together, unify, and then that's our theme this year, the color of unity. Because in unity, there's strength, there's power, and comes collaboration. So you want to continue to do better, to be better.
Now, with the unrest that we've seen in America due to policing tactics, as the chairman of the King Commission, I mean, if it's one thing we all can agree upon, is that Dr. King believed in nonviolent protest. He did believe that you stood up for your rights, and and I mean, he had no problem shutting businesses down, but you did it peacefully. Mm-hmm. With the unrest that we have seen across the nation, does that rejuvenate the King Commission? That the battle is not over. That we still, even though we may have a black president, we still have issues in our community that we got to address.
We do, and I think there will always be issues just because of our differences. But we have to continue that, and nonviolence. That was Dr. King's thing, and that's our way. You can get more with honey than than you can with vinegar. So that's nonviolence. That's what you have to strive to do, is to do it in a peaceful way. But we will always be striving to do better, be better. And now we will always have differences because we're different people. That was the way that we were created. But that's the whole thing of the commission. But you still unify. We need to be different because it's like a car has to have traction to move forward. So there has to be some traction. But we can agree to disagree and still be together for the common good.
Now, you just said we can agree to disagree. I'm gonna say you got that from your uncle. Uncle-in-law, Brother Robert Stevenson. Whenever I talk to him, we have discussions. Mr. Shropshire, we got to learn to be disagree agreeably, you know.
After many years, that's down in your point. But I can remember that from my grandfather, my grandmother. But yes, that's true. You do. And just because you disagree doesn't mean that you can't work together for the common good.
How large is the commission now?
How many members that attend regularly? Probably about 15. But we're always looking for volunteers. The doors are always open.
I'm just wondering, has the commission always been in place as a commission from the very beginning, or is that something that was created along the way?
No, it's always been in existence. We're a 501c3 tax-exempt organization, and it's always been that way. You know, we lay the foundation for it. We have an open membership. Doesn't cost you anything to join or be a part of the King Commission. We just ask that you commit yourself. So it's always been like this. It's always been well structured.
Now, so for people who might want to attend one of your meetings and dates and time,
I'm sorry. the third Monday of every month at 7 o'clock. And please, we implore anyone to come. We're always looking for, but we can always use volunteers, always. But it's the third Monday, and we meet at the Kelsey Aycock Center up off of Martin Luther King. Yes,
41 Washington Drive.
The old main high school.
Right.
now because I want to get more into the actual events, but we can do that in the second part if y'all don't mind. Because I want to talk about, for me, in this time of prosperity, even though we had a recession, in America, we still have a pretty decent life for the most part. Most people, a lot of people. But for me, there's a lot of issues that I don't know if we've become complacent or if what has happened. But when you look within our community, the African American community, we look at the dropout rate. We look at the number of kids that have been incarcerated. While we've made clearly some gains, there's clearly been a dropping of the ball, so to speak, that we've actually moved back in some things. For instance, I know my grandmother got a GED. So for my son or daughter to get a high school diploma, that's not progress really. So from the King Commission perspective, what do we have to do as a community? What can we do to help the commission become better?
We work with, part of our mission is to help, with the ideal of education. You get better by education. So, like now in our community, where you said the dropouts, we have to educate parents as well as the students that education is the key. I mean, you have to do better. Just because grandmother did something one way doesn't mean that you have to do it this way. We may have we all have a certain goal, and grandmother may have done it this way, but there's a new way of doing it because at one time grandmother didn't have a phone, and it certainly didn't have a cell phone. But now, in order to reach back home, you just pull out your pocket and you talk on your cell phone. But education is the key. We have to instill that into our children, and make our parents feel aware. You've got to be involved in your child's education.
So how do we do that though, as a community? Because I know the commission said about 15 members, and if you like most organizations, if you got 15 members, you may have 5 actually working. If you like most organizations, but I mean, I want people when they see this show to leave with a sense of how do I help? What can I do to help? Because I think too many times with organizations, we don't leave people out on purpose, but people don't necessarily see where they fit in. And I know if there's any one organization that everybody fit in, it's the King Commission. I mean, the 100 is limited in what we do and who we recruit, but the King Commission is open to everybody. And I just want people to walk away with a sense that, there's something they can do if they come to the King Commission to make a difference.
You're right. There is something that everybody can do, no matter what it is. And some people feel like, I can, if you can stuff envelopes, or the way I started, I work in social services, but I started with the King Commission, just working on Mondays at the luncheon, and I was fine with that. Just coordinating the luncheon, working with the members that have been there for years. So it's something for it, and no job is too small. Everything is important. Every job comes together to make a whole. So there's something for everybody to do. Whether I just want to come and volunteer and help with the luncheon, that's fine. We need it all to make it successful. I mean, there's some. If you want to work behind stage on Friday night when there's a play, or that on Saturday there's a breakfast, you can come. You can volunteer and help with the children. We have children sing on that Saturday is their day. So if you can just come and help with the children. Sometimes you have to sit down, please do this, do that. But if it's nothing but taking care of the children, there's something that everybody can do. No matter who you are, what you are, the age, there's something that you can do.
And I certainly agree, Greg. Sometimes I think we all feel like we dropped the ball, but from our perspective, we have to teach people, give them an opportunity to be themselves. I think that my most important job is being involved in the community. I have a wealth of knowledge to pass on, and I need to make sure that I get that knowledge out to the younger generation, to the younger people. We can all come together. There's something for everybody to do, regardless of your age or color. And we want to be a more diverse group. I would like to see the King Commission a little bit more reflective of a diverse group of individuals in Rome and Floyd County. And that's like a building block, bringing all organizations together to sit down and get on the same page and possibly agree on an agenda that we can all address at the same time.
No, I like that, but we got to work on that one.
Yeah, a lot of work.
Well, we're coming up on a break. When we come back, we'll get into some of the particulars of this coming weekend. So please stay with us. You might want to bring something to write with. We'll be right back after this.
Heart disease affects 1 in every 3 women in America, but you can fight back. There's no time to lose. Mothers, sisters, daughters, families, and friends, it's time to shout louder, stand stronger, and demand change.
Let's go! To the Batmobile. Dang it. To the invisible jet. Dang it.
Together, we can put an end to heart disease. It's time to go red for women.
I could use your help.
Learn more from the American Heart Association at www.goredforwomen.org.
Welcome back to Community Watch. We're talking with Sunday Stevenson and Alvin Jackson of the MLK Commission about the upcoming King Weekend celebration. 4 days of activities coming up in this year's 29th anniversary King Weekend. I wanted to ask a question before we get into the particulars. Do you have a sense that the King holiday is seen now more as a holiday for all Americans instead of as a holiday for African Americans only?
I do. I think as we go along, I've seen it changed. I've got some good comments. I've got some bad comments. But overall, I think people are beginning to feel a sense of responsibility. When we came down Broad Street, I remember the first weekend we had the celebration, all the stores were open. People were shouting names, shooting birds, all this sort of thing, threats, as we went down Broad Street. But now today you see that most of the shops are closed. The schools are closed, government's shut down. So it's growing, so to speak. And I think people are beginning to realize that this is a day that we all need to celebrate and be proud of, particularly here in Rome and Floyd County. I think that we've got to start on our home turf. We've got to make a difference here, excuse me, in our community before we reach out to others.
Okay. Well, I guess we need to hear about...
I'm glad you asked that question, though, because I think it's a little bit of both. I think, for instance, I think for a lot of youth, it's just a day. And I think it's where we older generation. And here I'm talking like, I just think we as a society have failed to really instill the importance of this day. It's not just a day. Like, we off this day. We off. I know the school is off the day before Valentine's Day or whatever. I mean, this is not just a day off. This is a very important day for us to stop and reflect. I mean, it's one of those reflection days. And I just think we have not done as well as a society with our children. And I would love to see Rome do a better job of making sure that our young people understand, yeah, you never met Dr. King, yeah, you've heard his name 1,000 times, but do you really understand the debt that was paid for us to have this? And I think, as Alvin said, though, we got a lot of work to do, but I do think it's a holiday that we all recognize, but I just feel that sometimes our children especially don't understand the true significance of having a day, MLK Day, just having a day, the history of what it took to get that day, so we got a lot of work to do, I think.
That's education.
Yeah.
I mean, educating our children, the price that was paid to get to this day. With Dr. King and then all the followers that he had that were working with him and that marched with him side by side. So just educating our youth on what what the day means, and how it has come down. Not a day off, but a day out, just serving others. It's just doing something to help someone else. Because we can all look around and see that somebody worse off than we are.
Oh yeah. But I know we need to get into this before
yeah, there's too much. We want to make sure we get this out. Well, if y'all would help us with some of the primary events that you have planned on the weekend, and let us know what to expect this weekend.
You go ahead with Friday.
Okay, Friday night we have a play starting out. That'll be Friday. In fact, this Friday's coming up. A play that was written and directed by Miss Mary Swapshire and Victor Hickson, and we have youth up to adults that are taking part. And it's a three-act play. And yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and some of it reflects on where we as a race have come from, what we're doing today, and then where we're going to tomorrow. And I think with the young men, you'll see one act. I think it's Act 2, where they have a lot of young men in there, and they're just out on the street. And then the older gentleman comes by, and he kind of mentors him. Tell him this is not a better way, education. So that's Friday night. So it's a play, and I think you'll come and you'll have something to take away from it. And then on Saturday morning is the annual prayer breakfast, and the play will be at the City Auditorium, and it's free for anybody. So we 7 o'clock on Friday, and then on Saturday morning at the Palladium, which is at the fairgrounds, we have the annual prayer breakfast. And Saturday morning is like when we showcase the youth. We get them involved. We have a youth choir. We'll have dancers, and then we have a youth minister, Reverend Timothy Williamson from Lovejoy Baptist Church. He will be the keynote speaker for the prayer breakfast, so he will be there. And the tickets are $15. They were available at Kroger until 6.
Yes.
Okay, $15 per person at Kroger, but that will be at the Palladium on Saturday morning, beginning at 9 o'clock a.m.
Then on Sunday we have the ecumenical service. It'll be held at the Presbyterian Church on 1941 Shorter Avenue. Speaking for that occasion is the Reverend Stephen Samuels, who, since you're a Morehouse man, he's a Morehouse man.
Yeah, we actually graduated together.
Okay, but he'll be the keynote speaker for that event, and he'll be bringing the message, and it should center around our theme for the year. We're all in this together. And he's an excellent speaker. Matter of fact, he's the son of Miss Willie Mae Samuels, who's a founding chairperson of the AACPA here in Rome, and that begins at 5 o'clock p.m. Then on Monday, which is a big day, our biggest day, we'll start with our Freedom March. We'll assemble at the corner of Broad Street and First Avenue at 11 o'clock. The march starts at exactly 11:30. We've asked Dr. George Pullen's wife, Ann Pullen, if she would participate and lead this march. Dr. Pullen was a special person, and there's a story behind that. He never missed a march, and he left the hospital and came to the march last year. Then we'll proceed from there, where our noonday program begins at 12 o'clock p.m. at the Rome City Auditorium. Our keynote speaker would be Ms. Valerie Wilson. She's a former candidate for our state school superintendent. Immediately following that, we will proceed to the Rome Civic Center, where we have our fellowship luncheon. What this does is give everybody an opportunity to come out and have a free lunch and fellowship. So those are the events that we have scheduled, and like I say, they're the only 4 consecutive day events in the entire state of Georgia.
Now, I was paying as close attention as I could, but it sounded like the only event that is not free is the breakfast on Saturday.
That's
is that
correct.
correct?
That's correct.
And that is $15 for the breakfast, which is at 9 a.m. at the Palladium.
That's correct.
All right. And everything else is free, so there's really no excuse to not participate.
No excuse.
But I got one better for you though, for next year.
For next year, okay.
Next year, companies should sponsor the tickets for students. Different companies. I'm just saying,
For the breakfast.
For the breakfast, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, corporate support.
Corporate
sponsor tickets for youth to go. That way we can, because all youth can't afford to go.
You're right.
All youth can't afford to go.
And we
But
do
you-
have,
yeah.
we do have some now. We do have churches and individuals that do sponsor children.
No, I want it bigger. I want
Okay,
it
want
to be
it
free.
you're right. Be free. You're right.
I want to get enough corporate support.
That's the part of being better.
Yeah, I'm
getting
saying because
better.
if we come together on, if you come together with the ecumenical service on Sunday, which I think really speaks volume, because I do still think that the most segregated time is Sunday morning. I
Yes.
still do think that. But I mean, I get, for me, for the companies and enough people to donate tickets, so not just children, but we can truly have a diverse, because every time I've been to the prayer breakfast, it's not a lot of diversity at that prayer breakfast. I just think, it makes a statement. I would love to be able to see the room packed, diverse, and we make sure we get kids in there to really, because this is a day they actually get a lot of time kids get showcased.
Yes.
And so it's their time, And so next year we got to make sure we do what
That
we can.
happens. That's right.
Yeah.
We'll start early on that and make sure we can get it.
Matter of fact, we start the day after, after this year.
I would like to put in a word for the program speaker, Valerie Wilson.
Yes. Okay.
This is after the march on Monday.
Yes, that's correct.
The 19th, and she'll be speaking at the auditorium and the program immediately following the march.
Yes.
I had the great pleasure of meeting her and hearing her speak during the campaign. Such an impressive person, such a dynamic speaker. I mean, you have got to hear this woman speak. She is spectacular, Valerie Wilson, and to be able to hear her at no charge. That alone is worth rearranging schedules for that. I mean, she's spectacular.
Well, thank you. She is, and not only that, I think also even Stephen Samuel, Valerie and Stephen both are gifted communicators. And this, and if you can, please, Sunday at 5 o'clock at Westminster Presbyterian Church, and then Monday afternoon at the here at the Rome City Auditorium, and they're free, and they're dynamic speakers, both of them.
We are coming up on a break. When we come back, we'll run down as much of this as we can in brief, so stay with us. We'll be right back.
I'm transferring to the University of West Georgia.
Columbia University.
Kennesaw State.
UGA.
Loyola University in Chicago.
Grambling State.
Shorter University.
I'm going to Greensboro College, and we all got our start at Georgia Highlands.
No matter where your educational journey takes you, you can get your start at Georgia Highlands College. Georgia Highlands College. Enroll, engage, excel.
Welcome back to Community Watch. We've been talking about the MLK celebration weekend coming up, starting on Friday the 16th and running through Monday the 19th, 4 days of activities. On Friday, there is a play in the evening, 7 p.m. at the City Auditorium. Saturday is the prayer breakfast, $15 tickets at the Palladium at 9 a.m. Y'all tell me if I get this wrong. Sunday morning is the ecumenical service at 5 p.m. at Westminster Presbyterian with Reverend Stephen Samuel. Monday, the march downtown Broad Street starting at 11. Line up at 11, march at 11:30. Program at the auditorium with Valerie Wilson speaking immediately after, and then a lunch at the Civic Center. You should attend all of these events. Excellent weekend coming up. Thank y'all for being with us. Thank you. We'll see you next time on Community Watch.